Ever wondered how an 8,000 peso or $150 aggressive hardtail frame perform on different trails? Well, today we're taking the SpeedOne Spectrum 3 to the ultimate test. Hey everyone, user dev MTV here, and if you like mountain biking and bike parts and bike gears review, please feel free to join our community. So this is part 2 of our SpeedOne Spectrum 3 video review, and we already managed to transfer all the parts from my Santa Cruz Nomad to the Spectrum 3 frame. And of course, before anything else, shout out to Bike Tech PH for always supporting user dev MTV. Guys, if you're looking for affordable mountain bikes, road bikes, Bike Tech PH is the place to be. Napaka-affordable na mga bikes and services dito sa Bike Tech PH. Facebook profile on the video description. We're not gonna go deep with the specs and geometry of this frame because we already did that on a part 1 of our SpeedOne Spectrum 3 initial thoughts or review. And guys, if you wanna know how I purchased this frame and how much I paid for it, just click on the link above or on the video description below. Anyway, I just wanna quickly insert important information about this frame. Intended use of this frame is from all mountain to aggressive trails. It has 64 degrees of head tube angle and it has 74 degrees of seat tube angle. Wheelbase for size small is 1,181 mm, and on paper it looks similar to you guessed it right, Commencal Meta HT. Anyway, we're gonna go test this bike on our actual trails nearby. First up, light trail muna tayo. Fininvest Trail, Alabang. Initially, when I hopped on the bike, it felt shorter, especially on the top tube, but not to the extent na maskip ang legroom. Comparing it to my previous hardtail, which is the Commencal Meta HT, I think was 2 or 3 years ago, relatively short itong SpeedOne Spectrum 3. It really felt shorter, especially the top tube and the wheelbase. Again, on paper, they're similar, but on actual, it just kind of felt shorter. And while I was riding the bike on Fininvest Trail, I found it easier to maneuver on tight turns and the bike really felt responsive. But wala naman masyadong difference from the two bikes. They're both hardtails and I was just having fun riding it. Alright, next stop, trail number 2, and we're taking this bike to the flowy trail of Timberland Trail in San Mateo, Rizal. The bike really felt responsive on this flowy trail. Again, it's easier to maneuver on the twists and turns of this flowy trail. However, it lacked the stability on the long bumpy descents of this trail. So we tried to hit the jumps and drops on Timberland Trail, and so far, no problems at all. Everything went well, no unusual sound from the frame, and the bike is really capable. If I was riding this bike not knowing what brand, I couldn't tell that it was an 8,000 peso hardtail frame from SpeedOne. Anyhow, my point is the bike is really capable. Okay, trail number 3, and finally, let's take this bike on a long and fast downhill trail at Teban Trail in DRT Bulacan. No doubt this is the most harsh part of the review, but anyhow, I tried to ride this frame as if I'm riding a full suspension frame, and the results were just incredibly satisfying. The bike was really capable, and again, the same feeling that you get from a modded setup or from a shorter wheelbase, easier to maneuver especially on tight turns. However, again, lacks stability on long bumpy descent. It felt as if the bike wanted to throw me in front and over the bars. But I guess a hardtail is a hardtail, right? I don't care whatever brand it is, and make sure that you have a strong knees and elbows to suck all the bumps from all the trails. Guys, in my opinion, if you're gonna be riding such a trail, enduro or downhill trail, might as well invest on mid to high-end parts. We've all been there. Probably lahat naman tayo nagsimula with cheap bike and cheap bike parts, and we all know the results after riding it on rugged trails and hitting flat drops. So let's evaluate the performance of the SpeedOne Spectrum 3. Let's start with strengths. The bike is really capable. You can definitely bring it on light trails, all mountain trails, and if you really want to test its limit, just make sure that you bring a pair of strong knees with you. A hardtail is a hardtail. I don't care whatever brand or technology that you have in there, it won't forgive you on flat drops or jumps. Since you can do a modded setup, it's easier to maneuver, especially on tight turns. And most importantly, it's really cheap. For an 8,000 peso or $150 aggressive hardtail frame, I couldn't complain. It's really capable. Alright, so let's talk about weakness of this frame. The first thing that I noticed is it doesn't have any mounting for your water bottles on the down tube. So a solution to that is just buy a water bottle mount that is wrapped on the down tube, like this one from Fidlock. I'm really hesitant to drill a hole on the down tube since I'm gonna be riding this frame or this bike on enduro and downhill trail, which I usually do. I also noticed the mounts for rear brakes is also side mount. I don't really get the point since we're already used to just putting the brake caliper on top on this area of the frame. It will force you to put an adapter just to install your rear caliper. And also, we don't see any ISCG mount on the Spectrum 3, which is kind of disappointing because this is already standard among aggressive hardtail frames. Anyway, you can always put an adapter on the bottom bracket part so that you can fit your chain guide in your bash guard. And lastly, if you love to clean your bike regularly, I suggest tilting it upside down to properly drain it. I know it has some drainage installed within the down tube, but apparently that's not enough. Compared to the Commencal Meta HT that I had 2 or 3 years ago, the Spectrum 3 felt shorter in terms of wheelbase and top tube. It probably something has to do with the mullet setup versus the full 29 setup that I had with my Commencal Meta HT, and I know on paper they're almost similar with each other, but right away it just felt shorter on the wheelbase and on the top tube. It's still comfortable, I just noticed it right away when I hop on the bike. Overall, if you compare it with modern aggressive hardtail frames, geometry-wise, it is already in line with modern frames. And yeah, for an 8,000 peso aggressive hardtail frame, I think this is really a no-brainer. It's really bang for the buck. In conclusion, the SpeedOne Spectrum 3 is an excellent choice if you're looking for a cheap and yet capable aggressive hardtail frame. It's not gonna break the bank, and it's a perfect second bike if you're running a full suspension right now. And most importantly, if you're just plainly looking for a cheap aggressive hardtail, this is definitely a no-brainer. And don't forget the 10-year warranty for our first owners. If you're looking for a frame that can handle enduro downhill trails, then this is definitely worth considering. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this review, leave it a thumbs up and leave your thoughts on the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more mountain biking content, and as always, enough talking, let's hop on our bike and see you on the trail.